What up, squad? Before we get into the video proper, first of all, I wanted to thank everyone who has supported me in any way, big or small, this year. This has been a crucial year for me personally and professionally with my art. As some of you know, I've transitioned to doing freelance pretty much full time this year, and it's had its ups and downs, and it definitely has had its struggles. So whether you've seen me at a show and bought a print, whether you've gone on to my website, blackriverstudiollc.com, and bought one of the comic books that I work on, or one of the coloring books, or whether you've commissioned me for work, or whether it's just subscribing to this channel, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I can't tell you how much it is essential for me to keep doing what I'm doing. And speaking of doing what I'm doing and keep doing it, there will be more AONR draws next year. I will be scaling back a little bit starting with this month. This will be the last episode of this year. And from that point on, I'm going to just be focusing on mostly my book that I'm working on that I've alluded to plenty of times. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in the episode. But I will be doing some smaller clips, going back in older episodes and clipping them up a little bit and doing more digestible format. So I expect to see those like every other week or maybe once a week. And then at the top of the month, I haven't decided if it's going to be the top of the month or the bottom of the month, we'll do a new episode of AONR Draws. The next episode of AONR Draws will be whoever you guys pick in my community poll. So another reminder, hop over to that community tab, vote on who you'd like to see me draw next. I got some cool selections from the Guyver to Spider-Boy to Psylocke to Sub-Zero in his ultimate MK3 skin. That's a skin I'm using a lot in MK1 right now. Anyhow, that's all I got. Let's get into this episode. All right, we are back in Procreate working on the cover for Black River Studios' Tyrannosaurus Hex. This is issue number 3, and you'll see I've gone through a couple of different ideas trying to figure out what I wanted to do for the cover of this one. Initially, I was going to have King Mokabi and his son Malik front and center with the pterodactyls in the background fighting. It's one of the scenes in the comic books. There's a big aerial battle between the Mokabi tribe and the Reapers on their pterodactyls. So I knew that I definitely wanted to have the pterodactyls on the cover, but I wasn't so sure about my focal point. So, you know, initially I was going to stick with this, but about probably halfway into the roughs on this one, starting to get it into pencils, like, nope, that's not going to work. So I thought, well, maybe we'll focus on just the pterodactyls themselves fighting, and I kind of like that, but again, it just didn't really scream cover, so it just screamed more or less like interior page. So, you know, I played with a couple of different ideas. This one was Malik jumping towards one of the Reapers pterodactyls, and then maybe have Mokabi in the background. And for that, to speed things up, I just took an old drawing I had of Mokabi and put him in the back there and traced over it. But even that wasn't going to work. So I was like, well, let's maybe try to keep it simple, stupid, and just put Malik profile view. He's got a really cool profile with the hair. So it's like, I'll just do that, looking like he's taking off of his flight helmet, or maybe he's putting on his flight helmet. And I got to keep my battling pterodactyls in the background, and have like a little coastal view of Bluefish village in the background too. So, you know, that worked out for me on that. You know, I gotta say, even though it was not initially in my plan for this year to re-release Tyrannosaurus Hex 1 through 3 for Black River Studio. That was not originally part of my plans. And doing the whole Kickstarter thing, which I'll get back into that here in a minute. Even though that was not a part of the plan, I'm glad that I did it. The covers came out really cool, and it was fun getting to redraw these characters and go back into some work that I've done 8 years ago and kind of think, hey, I could probably bring this back. Now, along with that, with the Kickstarter, we didn't get funded for issues 1, 2, or issues 4, 5, and 6 for Tyrannosaurus Hex. But that doesn't mean that I won't try to do another crowdfunding thing for Tyrannosaurus Hex down the line. It's just on the back burner right now. Next year is really going to be focused on two things, and one thing that's kind of like I'm not ready to talk about yet, but two of those things are going to be the next volume of Metal Scorpio. So if you're not aware, my coloring book Metal Scorpio, that was released in November through my website, blackriverstudiollc.com. So you can go there and get yourself a book, get some cool pages to color. The second volume of that will be out next year, so around the same time. I'm also working on a full color like art book edition of Metal Scorpio, so that will be out next year as well. And also the first look at this graphic novel project that I keep alluding to, that'll be out next year as well. It'll be out first in a kind of like a preview edition, so it'll be 16 pages of the story, along with some concept artwork, and to give you an inside look at this new world that I'm creating for Black River Studio. So the actual book itself will be 48 pages, and it'll be book one of a three-parter volume. So each book will be around about 48 pages, and I will be releasing the name of that title, and the teasers and all that stuff will be out on Black River Studio social media. So please follow the Black River Studio Instagram. Follow us on Facebook if you do the Facebook thing. I'm working on getting a Threads for Black River Studio as well. I really need someone that could be like a social media expert wizard and handle all that stuff, but I don't quite got the funds for that. I'm a one-man team here with I am Black River Studio. Whenever someone asks me about that, that's my simple answer, because I'm doing everything right now. I'm even shipping you the books. So yeah, please support your local comic book artist, your neighborhood Robo-Riv, and he will do his best to make sure he doesn't disappoint. And if he does disappoint, he'll try to make it better. Back into the artwork with the pterodactyls. I really like how the little sun flare thing came up, and that was one of the first things I did after I put down some of the flats, was kind of getting that background environment coloring, because that was going to determine kind of the rest of the colors on this. And I added a soft kind of off-white yellow rim lighting on his face to add a little bit more to that too, to kind of look like he's being well lit there. And yeah, if you haven't had a chance to check out Tyrannosaurus Hex, I highly encourage it, even though this is going to be the last book that this series that I print out for a while. I don't see any more T-Hex being made until maybe next year, or not next year, sorry, 2026, if I can get to it then. if it picks up, you know. And like I said, I'm still planning on doing one of the major things I learned from doing the Kickstarter. It was my very first time putting together a Kickstarter myself, and there's a couple of things I learned. One major thing I learned is maybe don't do it for like multiple issues. So when I do another Kickstarter for T-Hex eventually, it'll just solely be for issue 4, and then we'll just kind of attack each book one at a time. So that's all I got. That was the creation of the cover for Tyrannosaurus Hex number 3. All right, if you have any suggestions for characters you'd like to see in another fan art selection poll, next year is probably between some of my original concepts and you guys getting to see sneak peeks at some of the work I'm working on. It'll be between that and doing fan art for you guys. So if you have any ideas, any suggestions for characters for that, sound off in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification. That way you'll be reminded when another episode comes out. And stay safe this holiday season, whether you celebrate or whether you don't. There's a lot of goofy people out there. Stay safe. Love you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.